Hey, and welcome to The Explainer. When you think of Chile, you probably picture a country with incredibly deep Catholic roots. But right now, something massive is shifting there. Today, we're diving into the unique vision of a bishop who argues this isn't just a crisis of faith, it might actually be an unexpected chance for a brand new start. Get this. Chile has become a mission land. That's a pretty provocative statement, right? It comes directly from a Chilean bishop, Monsignor Juan Ignacio González. And just take a second to think about what that really means. A country that was once a total stronghold of Catholicism now needs to be, reintroduced to the faith, almost from scratch. It's a sign of a profound, deep-seated cultural change. So, a statement that bold, it doesn't just come out of thin air. It's backed by some pretty stark numbers that paint a whole new picture for the church in Chile. All right, to really get what's happening today, we've got to rewind the clock. This change didn't happen overnight. It's been a long, steady process. It all starts back in 1930, when the church was at the absolute peak of its influence. Then you fast forward to the 2002 census, and the first real alarm bells start to ring. But now, in 2024, we've hit a genuine tipping point. The sheer scale of the shift is, it's stunning. Let's start with this number, 98%. In 1930, being Chilean basically meant being Catholic. It wasn't just a religion, it was a core part of the national identity. And today, that number has absolutely plummeted to 54%. That's a drop of more than 40 points. It's a demographic and cultural earthquake that has completely reshaped the country in less than a century. So you have to wonder, where did all those Catholics go? You might assume they just switched to other churches, but that's not what the data shows. Protestantism, for instance, has stayed pretty stable. The real exodus, the big story here, was to something else entirely. The group of people identifying with no religion at all. That group tripled in just 20 years, jumping from about 8% to almost 26%. That is the true epicenter of this change. Okay, so we've seen the what. Now for the really big question. Why? Why did this happen? Well, the bishop's analysis points to a kind of perfect storm of factors, some coming from outside cultural shifts and others from major crises happening right inside the church itself. First up, there's a massive cultural change. And it's not just about consumerism or people wanting more stuff. It's about something the bishop calls self-referentiality. The basic idea is that the individual has become the center of their own universe, the measure of all things. And, when that's your worldview, by definition, it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for anything transcendent. And then the analysis turns inward to a factor that's been absolutely devastating, the abuse committed by members of the clergy. The impact here wasn't just bad headlines. It fundamentally shattered the bond of trust with society in a way that had never happened before, causing a massive and painful exodus. Internally, another problem is identified. A feeling that the church got too involved in politics in past decades, which may have diverted it from its spiritual mission. And this had very real, very visible consequences. Fewer and fewer priests and fewer people getting married in the church. The institution was essentially getting weaker from the inside out. Finally, the analysis describes an external pressure, what it calls a radical secularism. The idea here isn't simply that people are choosing not to believe, but that there's an active movement to push religion out of public life and public debate. From this perspective, laws dealing with things like abortion or euthanasia are seen as a direct manifestation of this trend. But despite this landscape that seems so bleak, the analysis takes a surprising turn. The crisis isn't seen as an ending, but as something else entirely. It's seen as an opportunity, a chance for purification. And this right here is the heart of the argument. The crisis, with all its worldliness and broken trust, is actually viewed as a catalyst. It's forcing the church to let go of its baggage and get back to what's essential: purification, a more humble mission. The idea is that only by losing power and prestige can it actually regain its credibility. It's like a forced reboot, in a way. Now, it's really key to put this into a global perspective. While Chile is secularizing, Catholicism is growing strong in Africa, Asia, and even in the rest of Latin America. And here's the real paradox. Many of the immigrants arriving in Chile today are bringing with them a vibrant faith, which serves as a reminder to the country of a religiosity it seems to be losing. So this is the crucial point. If this crisis is an opportunity, how do you actually take advantage of it? What's the path forward for navigating this new reality of being a mission land? The proposed path forward is built on 3 pillars. First, truth, reaffirming the core message of the faith without apology. Then, dialogue, building bridges with reason and modern culture, not just putting up walls. And finally, coherence, the pillar that holds it all together. Because let's be honest, none of the other stuff works if the message isn't lived out in an authentic and compelling way.
And this vision isn't just a theory. It's already being translated into an action plan by the Episcopal Conference. The key strategies are a stronger push for evangelization, creating more participatory or synodal structures, a clear focus on the poor and the youth, and, maybe most importantly, creating a culture of care and respect to heal the wounds of the past. And with that, we land on the final question, the one that sums up this entire explainer. Is this crisis a death certificate for Catholicism in Chile, or is it the painful but necessary starting point for a brand new beginning? The answer, according to this vision, really depends on the ability to transform this huge challenge into a genuine opportunity for purification and renewal, a challenge for an entire community of faith. Thanks for joining us.